got his heart in the beat. But corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. But corruption creeping in, gotta take back the street. From the French Quarter vibes to the Ninth Ward grind, he's the voice of the people, yo, he's one of a kind. Talking about the struggle, the hustle, the pain, but with each word he drops, he's bringing power to the game. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Try to silence the truth, but he's loud and clear. From the bayou to the block, everyone can hear. Got the people united, it's a movement, no doubt. With his mic in hand, he's breaking all the clout. City eat the official scheming, yeah, they playing it slick. But Gerod's on the line and he's ready to kick. For the schools and the streets, he's fighting the fight. With a heart full of passion, he's igniting the night. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. From the jazz in the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. In the streets to the gumbo pot, he's the pulse of the city, giving all he's got. Together we rise, united we stand. With Gerod on the radio, we're taking back our land. So tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, tune in, y'all, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it real, keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Gerod on the radio, calling out the lies, bringing light to the dark, keeping hope in our eyes. He's the voice of the people, making changes unfold. In the city of NOLA, we're reclaiming our soul. Yeah, let the truth resonate. With Gerod on the mic, we're rewriting our fate. In New Orleans, the power is ours to embrace. Keep it loud, let's uplift this place. Yeah.
Yeah, why am I sitting up so high? And you sitting up so low?
I don't know.
I'm sitting in this high chair. Look at it. I'm sitting in the high chair. I'm about to kick my feet.
You must be the king.
You
Maybe
can kick your feet in a regular high chair, so what are you talking about? What you say? You can kick your feet in a regular high chair, so what are you talking about?
Well, welcome, folks. My name is Suzette Bagnaris.
You hearing us argue?
And I'm here with Gerod Stevens. We're at WBOK 1230 AM and 107.1 FM on your dial. Today, the reality check is going to talk about citizenship on trial. What this Supreme Court case really means. Today, the United States Supreme Court is hearing arguments that go to the very heart of what it means to be an American. We're talking about birthright citizenship, the principle that if you are born on American soil, you are an American citizen. No conditions, no exceptions. That principle is not new. It's rooted in the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified in 1868 after the Civil War, specifically to answer one question: were black people citizens of this country? The 14th Amendment was not theoretical. It was not abstract. It was in direct response to the decision in Dred Scott versus Sanford, where the Supreme Court said black people had no rights which the white man was bound to respect. Let that sit for a moment.
Yep.
So after slavery ended, Congress had to step in and say, no, if you're born here, you belong here.
14th Amendment.
That's what was birthright citizenship was born from, the 14th Amendment. So now today, we're being told that this case is about immigration. But let's be honest on this show. We deal in reality, not spin here. This is not just about immigration. This is about redefining who gets to belong in America and who has rights as an American. And black people's citizenship was on trial today.
Yep.
Because once you start carving out exceptions to birthright citizenship, it becomes a slippery slope, and you are reopening the same question that this country supposedly answered in 1868. Who is a citizen and who is not? And are black people citizens in this country?
Yep.
So.
Well, I can say I was just, when you came in, that's why I was listening to this guy on YouTube, Modest Touch. And he was talking about it, how Trump had two historical things happen today to him. He was the first sitting president to ever go to a SCOTUS hearing.
Mm-hmm.
He was there to bully them. He was there to intimidate them.
He was the first president to ever, well, he was definitely the first to do this. He stormed out because he didn't get his way.
Yep.
Like a little baby, a little petulant 2-year-old that he is.
But it's apparent to me this is a president that wants to operate on intimidation, doesn't care what the Constitution says at all.
None.
And thinks that, if, like you said, that he's going to get his way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a completely racist agenda.
Of course.
And it's a completely sexist agenda.
So,
and if anybody doesn't see it, it's because they don't want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So all
if
black
you're
people,
not seeing this, I think you need to question yourself.
all the black people that are saying, oh, he's not prejudiced, name when he's prejudiced. Well, there's one thing right there. Now, there's a whole bunch of others. So you need to wake the fudge up and smell the coffee.
Well, look at Chile.
Yeah, stupid.
Oh, we got to talk about Chile
She's
too.
stupid. Nick Cannon's stupid. Pharrell is stupid. All of them, Nicki Minaj, all of them are stupid.
Absolutely. You know, or they're bought and paid for. They come at a price.
Yeah.
You know, and that's very sad. You know, but here's the law, plain and simple, that was debated today. The 14th Amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. And for over 125 years, let that sink in, for over 125 years, the Supreme Court has interpreted that phrase broadly, including in the United States versus Wong Kim Ark, which confirmed that children born in the U.S., even if their parents are not citizens, are citizens.
US citizens.
So what's happening now? There's an argument being pushed that the phrase subject to the jurisdiction thereof should be narrowly construed. And if that happens, you don't just change immigration policy. You change the Constitution of the United States without having to amend it. Let this sink in a little deeper, because this is where people are missing the point. Every major expansion of democracy in this country has come through black struggle. The 13th Amendment, ending slavery. The 14th Amendment gave citizenship. The 15th Amendment was the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act of 1965. So what we have seen in recent years is an attempt to gut the Voting Rights Act and DEI, put restrictions on education about race, and now a challenge to our citizenship itself. And if you're not a citizen, you can't own property. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote.
Right.
If you're not a citizen, there's a lot of things you cannot do in this country. You have no right to try a jury trial. Okay, I mean, these things are things that will be stripped away from you with one Supreme Court decision. And that is not coincidence. That is a pattern of conduct for this administration. It is within Project 2025 that they're trying to racially change the demographics of this country. So let's call it what it is.
Whitewashing.
Absolutely. There is a movement in this country that believes that America was greater before it became a multiracial democracy. And every time the country moves toward inclusion, there seems to be more backlash of people saying their white rights are being challenged. So we saw it after Reconstruction. We saw it after the Civil Rights Movement. We're seeing it again right now. So I want to ask you, if you're listening right now, if citizenship can be redefined and Black people can be stripped of their rights of citizenship, what comes next? If the Constitution can be reinterpreted in this way, who is safe? And if history has taught us anything, who do you think is going to be affected first? Because let me tell you something, when they say some people don't belong here, they're not just talking about somebody else. They're talking about you. So you might remember a few months back, I kept imploring you all to watch what was happening with our Hispanic people in this country. I kept telling you they weren't going to stop with the Hispanic people. They were going to come for you. Well, guess what? They're coming for you. They're definitely coming for you. So this is not just a legal argument. This is a moral moment. This is an awakening. The 14th Amendment is not just a piece of law in the abstract. It is a promise to Black Americans. Are they breaking that promise? A promise that everything after slavery, after bloodshed, after generations of struggle for Black people in America, this country would finally recognize their humanity and citizenship because they built America on their backs. Is that promise now being tested? I think it is. And I think we need to be vigilant. We need to stay engaged. We need to expose it and talk about it for what it really is. This is not just about Mexicans illegally crossing the border.
They are following the course of Project 2025 to the T.
To the T, Wick. To the T. If you go through Project 2025.
And let that Save America Act go through.
Yes. Okay. If you go through Project 2025, you see this is a playbook. Last week, I talked about TSA and getting rid of TSA and privatizing it, which was page 159 of Project 2025. I went back and looked for it. Page 159 of Project 2025. This, too, is a foundational current that runs through Project 2025.
So there's one part of this that I think we got to put into what's happening right now, and it's I think I could sit here and probably say, I told you so since we started this program, but I told you so doesn't work. And I mean, us saying we told you about it, it's not working. And I would think you would agree with me on it. It ain't working because they're going to do what they want to do. So the argument of I told y'all before this was the same argument that I brought up yesterday that Kamala Harris had. She said, I told you this was going to happen. Look what happened. So that argument of "I told you so" is going against or going toward deaf ears. The only thing that I could see that's going to work when we're talking about all these things that hurt us, we're not even talking about the other folks, but it hurts other folks as well, is the fact that we have the ability to sit down and have these conversations, but yet the leadership in the Black community is not engaged. As a matter of fact, they don't even want to talk politics when they're talking religion. And that has always been the focus. That has always been the front runner when it comes to us having movements in the Black community, and that is the Black church. We've got so many different denominations of Black church, whether you're Kojic, whether you full gospel, whether you just AME, whether you rather, whatever you are. You're trying to tell me that at the end of the day that these folks can tell the difference between what denomination you are. At the end of the day, when you walk out the doors of that church, you Black. I'm sorry. And this is the opportunity that I'm going to tell all those pastors, all those church leaders, all those evangelists, that you all have got to help make this movement. It's not going to happen until the church steps up and say, we've got to educate our people. We have got to educate our people. Now, these two sitting on this microphone can sit here and have a conversation about this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. We hear it every day that somebody walk up and say, hey, we heard what y'all talked about and sure did. It sure did. But that's not covering the whole United States of America. There is no covering the entire United States of America until the Black church gets involved. And that ain't just here. That's the entire states.
And
not
that's
just
why
state.
they're putting forth that criminal law saying that if you say anything from the pulpit that sounds like it is a political call to action, then you're disturbing the peace.
Exactly.
Okay? I mean, this is all linked together. It's all interconnected.
Mhm.
They're trying to silence us. Now, a majority of the Supreme Court justices seem skeptical of the Trump administration's argument on birthright citizenship. They appeared like they were ready to rule in favor of upholding automatic citizenship for people born on U.S. soil. That included multiple conservative justices who had tough questions for Trump's Solicitor General D. John Sawyer. Sawyer argued the government's case against birthright citizenship. And, it seemed like Chief Justice Roberts, as well as Justices Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, they peppered Sawyer about the logic undergirding several of his arguments. Roberts at one point called some of what Sawyer is relying on quirky and idiosyncratic. Gorsuch quizzed Sawyer on immigration laws in 1868 when the 14th Amendment, which guarantees automatic citizenship to those born on the U.S. soil, and said some of Sawyer's sources for his argument were like going back to Roman law. Like he was going back forever to try to make his argument.
Let's go to the phone here while we got it. But you got to take a break first? All right, Miss Elmo, hold on. We'll come back in just a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
Hey, this is Dave Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month from the Community Scientist and Rise St. James. This month's focus is polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, formed when fuels like oil, gas, wood, or trash are burned. These chemicals can enter the air we breathe and settle into our soil and water. Many PAHs are known carcinogens, adding to the health burdens faced by communities living near industry. Learn how to protect your health at risestjames.org.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
We're back. We're going to take Mr. Elmore on line 1. Mr. Elmore, you're on the air.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing today?
Doing okay. How about you?
I think that, I think it's deeper than that. I think that white folks that have power, they are conscious of the fact that the browning of America is in the future. The browning of America might be a majority over white folks. So they're trying to do everything they can. I mean, they're trying to do everything they can to make being an American citizen. They always say it's always a privilege for us, but they feel they have a right. So white folks feel they have a right to vote. White folks feel they have a right to go to good schools. They have a right to live in nice neighborhoods, have good police and fire protection. But they always say it should be a privilege to be American. I fought for my country. I'm a Vietnam vet. I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of my people. But again, I want to have the same kind of right that everybody else do. I had the privilege to serve my country, but again, I volunteered to go to Vietnam. I was so happy to draft, and then I volunteered myself a couple of more years. But they scared of it. They're scared of it. They want to start it right now. It goes with the voting. They want to make voting a privilege, not a right. They want to make sure. That's why they question, like your family, very educated. You educated. They question how they go to school and how and where they go to the type of schools they do, because they're scared of our education. They're scared of our position that we'll have in our lives. Because you are preparing your kids to be better than you. That's the way it's supposed to be. We want our children, the next generation of Afro-American young women and men, to be somebody, and they will be somebody, but they're trying to do everything they can to keep us from being that where we need to have them to be.
So one of the things that I would tell you, Mr. Elmore, is I really do believe that at some point we've got to break down what we're seeing. And what we're seeing is basically the breakdown of the African American population. Remember who got fired first and usually gets hired last. Remember the number of women, black women, that just lost their jobs. I think they said over 300,000 lost their jobs since this administration has been in place. We're also looking at the incarceration of black folks, and the number of black men that are still incarcerated really hasn't changed. I think it has gained numbers since they said, hey, let's do reform. Well, the reform is for who? I don't know if it's just, tag words or if there's really reform in helping folks get out of jail. We know that the number of dollars that's coming through our communities has gotten lesser than gaining the number of dollars it takes to live correctly. And then you start looking at a couple other things, because I see Joe Ken has said that they're not really trying to take your property online. But I got to tell you, taking your property is a whole lot more than just somebody snatching it up. You got to look at the word called gentrification. You got to look at the word of being able not to support your community and losing your property because the tax rate has gone up. And what we've seen in this community is people taking your property and paying your taxes, and then you have to pay them back 3 and 4 times as much within a certain period of time. And these companies aren't owned by us, but you lose your property if you can't pay for it.
What do you think is happening to these people who are being picked up in vans and drove to the airport and deported? What do you think is happening to the cars they're being dragged out of? What do you think is happening to the houses they left behind?
Mm-hmm.
When they're removing you forcibly from this country or placing you in a concentration camp, what do you think happens to your property when they do that?
You can't afford it. You can't pay for it.
They seize it.
Yep. If it's your
Somebody
property.
is getting wealthy off seizing these assets.
So one of the things that I would tell you too, Ms. Elmore, is that there is a company that the Vice President of the United States also belongs to. He's a member of Investment Group. That investment group is seizing property of farmers. I think there is a number of black farmers that are losing their property because the cost of doing business is so great, and they don't get the opportunity to provide for the United States government. So they got all this big equipment, all this land, and all of this note debt because they went in thinking that they were going to be able to farm their lands and also be able to live a dream of, just living on the farm. And
it's called Acre Trader.
Yep.
And J.D. Vance is the one who funded Acre Trader.
Yep.
It's a real estate platform that is seizing U.S. farmland that's been defaulted upon.
Yep. So when they default, they seize it.
Could I make one more comment?
Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I'm looking at, in being a Vietnam vet, I'm passionate about what I'm saying because I know what I lived through as a kid. Went straight to Vietnam out of high school, so I lived there at 19 years old. And I'm very, I feel very bad right now, this young man that might be in homeless way, because you have a president don't give the rats, what about nobody but himself. But he don't have the guts to have his own children go in the military. But the bottom line is, I can see if they try to put boots on the ground in Iran, boy, that's going to be a terrible thing because a lot of young men are going to lose their lives. Now, we're going to punch them in their mouth. But, boy, when they punch us in our mouth, we're going to feel it because when they see these white kids, don't get me wrong, I hate to see white or black or Hispanic or Asian American kids die. But it's a funny thing about society. When they see little white young men going to body bags and stuff, and the white folks boo-hooing and crying from these little country towns, guess what? That's when that's when it's gonna fly. Now with us, they don't care too much about us. They always consider us America. That's why I love Muhammad Ali. When Muhammad Ali said, "Ain't no big kind never called me a nigga," they got mad at him, but he was right. He's saying, "Listen, I love America. I'm just a part of America, you, but I ain't fighting for nobody that's gonna deal with a country or with a people that had no home to us." So that's why I love that Ali. So, again, we have to always understand, there's a lot of things deeper. There's so much going down with Trump, immigration, our economy, tariffs, this war. We could write a book about it, but I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to express myself.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things I did want to look at was the breakdown of demographics that are in the military. That breakdown, 68% are active duty, are white members, 31% are black members. But when I look at the racial breakdown, it also makes me ask the question, when you start looking at the racial breakdown of African Americans that are in the military, remember we're only 13% of America's numbers as far as who we are. So of course we're going to be less than when it comes down to the number of African Americans that serve their country. But when you start looking at the military personnel, it identifies as white 31% and identifying as racial minorities. 68% identifying as white, 31.2% identifying as racial minorities. But what's racial minorities? Is that just black or is that just Asian, American? That's all of the ones that are racially other than white that identifying. That number is actually down. So at one point in time, like my grandmother used to tell me, if you don't go to school, you better enlist because you ain't going to sit around here and do nothing. So a lot of African-American males in the past used to identify in the military because either their cousin was there, we were there, or you just couldn't sit at home and you wanted to go see the world, but you didn't want to go to school. So what did you do? You enlisted into the military. I wonder, is that same thought pattern still here? I don't think so.
No, there was a young man last night on social media, a young black man who was about to get out of the military. His time is almost up, and he was saying, "I recognize that my military service was a means to an end, but I'm not I'm gonna not
You're
gonna
not
be
making a
career
career?
military." And I think that's the mindset of a lot of young people. If they get in to be trained in a certain field or to get their education quickly, to get the benefits, and to get out and get into another field. I don't think they're trying to be military people for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they're not trying to make a career.
No.
But
No.
a career in the military is what, 20 years? I think it's 20 years, 20, 25 years, sometime 30. But 20, 25 years. If you go in at 18, 18 and do 20 years, you're out living life. But one of the issues we found for black folks is when you're out and you get out, can you get a job? Because you still want to work, but can you get a job? Age, will that stop you? Race, will that stop you? But if you have that military experience, can you get a position?
I'll tell you what, I think that they are losing this war, and I really think that they are underreporting the number of American servicemen who are being injured and are being killed over there. Servicemen and women.
Why do you think that?
Well, I've been no longer really watching U.S. news. I've been watching news coming out of BBC, coming out of Al Jazeera English. I'm watching foreign news sources who are reporting that the majority of our really important, big military bases in the Middle East have been obliterated. And when they've been obliterated, there have been a number of injuries and casualties reported, that they have been placed in hospitals throughout Europe. And now those hospitals throughout Europe and throughout the Middle East are now becoming targets for Iran. They're saying if you give refuge to American soldiers, we're going to blow up your hospital. So, I'm listening to this. I'm looking at foreign news sources, and I don't think we're getting accurate reporting here in the United States. I'm very concerned about the fate of our U.S. servicemen and women in this war that we just don't seem to be on the right side of. And, I'm also looking at what people who are in Europe and people who are, in other countries are saying about us and about the position that the U.S. is in this war. We are considered the aggressor. We're not considered to be on the side of right in this one.
Right.
And they're not going to come to our aid to defend us, to support us, because they believe we are wrong. That bombing of that elementary school filled with girls is something that a lot of foreign news agencies are focused on, and saying that if they hit us here in America, or they hit, American institutions, because they're also threatening our American universities right now. If they hit us, they're saying they're justified. Catch back. You hit a school filled with little girls.
175.
Yeah. So, I'm very concerned about where we are in terms of media reporting and the information that we're getting here in America. I don't think that we can rely upon our American media anymore.
No, I don't either. And I think that this administration is taking advantage of that and have been making moves to stop I guess the consequences of hearing news that's not in their favor.
Right.
So now they want to play, let's get the big companies and let's get them on our side. Let's buy up these big companies and get the people that's going to buy them because of the fact that they'll go through so much. The folks going through so much trying to buy these big companies because of the shares of what they'll have when it comes down to ratings. How much of the rating market will you own? Because that makes a whole bunch of people real cautious.
And speaking of news, a federal court judge on Tuesday ruled that the key part of President Trump's executive order that targeted NPR and PBS was unconstitutional,
Right.
blocking the administration from denying federal funds based on an editorial viewpoint. The ruling will not reverse the Trump-led campaign to strip NPR and PBS stations of federal funding. But, last summer, Republicans in Congress rescinded support over objections from public media advocates. They were basically saying, we don't like the way you're reporting, so we're going to just stop the funding of NPR and of PBS. So this is going on at the same time as these arguments are going on with regard to birthright citizenship. I thought it was very interesting. There were volunteers with the ACLU, joined by immigrant right organizations like CASA and the League of United Latin American Citizens, that were outside of the Supreme Court argument today, handing out flyers that read "Protect Birthright Citizenship" and the 14th Amendment. The people from the ACLU were saying, we're all out here to protect the fundamental right of birthright citizenship. It's written in the 14th Amendment. It's what makes us America. Among the crowd outside of the Supreme Court today was a woman, a Mexican-American, Stephanie Sanchez. She's a first-generation Mexican-American, and she said, I am birthright citizenship. So this hits really, really close to home, because without birthright citizenship, I wouldn't even have my citizenship in the United States. Here I am representing my community, and I am fighting back. So this was a very emotional argument outside the Supreme Court today.
That's a Big Bird.
Why are you showing me Big Bird?
Look what Big Bird's doing.
Right. Why are we? Oh, Big Bird at PBS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I agree with Big Bird.
Okay. Joe Nathan.
What's happening, man? How you doing today?
What's that?
Oh, man, not too much going on. Just enjoying your conversation as usual. And I know some of your listeners, military, they can attest to this. Communication. That's one of the first tactics in war, to take out the communication, the ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And like Ms. McNaris was just saying a few minutes ago, the reporting, how can you get accurate reporting when, most of your media or your news outlets are not even going over there? It's just too dangerous, for number one. So you're not going to get accurate reporting. And when you control the narrative, you tend to be able to push propaganda that's not true. You know what I'm saying? And I just look at it as this. I don't know if you all have been keeping up. I'm sure you have. But look at the number of media folks that's been let go from these big media companies.
Right.
I mean, a whole list. I heard a whole list of names, including our former mayor's wife,
right.
Michelle Miller.
Right.
So you can't rely on what's being reported. And this war, this thing is going to get expensive. It's going to get ugly. A lot of casualties are going to happen. And to go back to what you were talking about earlier, I work with kids. Kids are not talking about going to the military. I mean, they're talking about, if they do, it's to get into college, maybe an option to get into college. But for the most part, kids are not looking to go that route, not like it was maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago. A number of people who I graduated from high school with, they served in that first Gulf War, right? So, and they made careers out of it, basically. Mm-hmm. But you're not hearing people talk like that anymore. They distrust what's going on. They distrust what our government is doing. And our president, the president of the United States, he's making a mockery of this country.
Right.
He really is. And it's just, you sit back and you look at it, man, and you just think of where are we going? What's the end game? I don't see
the end game is a money grab. He is a grifter, and the end game is purely economic for him. He and his family are earning money hand over fist right now at the expense of the American people. I saw a report last night that his son, Don Jr., has opened some kind of country club, and in order to become a member, you have to pay a $500,000 deposit. And the promise is that you will be able to hobnob with the decision makers in this country. And you will be able to hobnob with President Trump's cabinet makers, cabinet members. So, I mean, it is really, it's a money grab. They're all making money off of his influence.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of the things, too, you brought up, Joe Nathan, about the media. I don't know if you've been watching, just like you saw with the former mayor's wife, who was let go. This week, Shauna Thomas, African-American young lady who has been, they say she's like the GOAT when it comes to producing these network shows. The executive producer of CBS Mornings announced her departure. She's been there for 5 years. Her exit is part of the broader changes at CBS News, including shifts in leadership and a potential shift in the show's format from hard news to more entertainment-focused content. So if we don't have the news coming to us, we're not going to know.
Well, also, this month, in March, last month, CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring under CEO Mark Thompson. And he is saying that he is going to do a lot of layoffs that primarily affect off-camera production staff, digital teams, and people who are, on camera. But they're saying that he's been heavily influenced by the Trump administration, and he's going to cut people who are not going to report it the way Trump wants it reported.
Wow.
Here we go.
And I wonder how Byron Allen, he's a big player in the media game. I wonder how he's responding to a lot of this. He owns a lot of stations and stuff.
Yeah.
Byron Allen, the comedian.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. We're going to do this.
Though, man. But y'all have a good one.
You too, man. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. We got to take a break. We'll come back more in just a minute. Sid, cousin, y'all hold on.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support and style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026, The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
From the East Bank to the West Bank, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's the Reality Check on your radio, whether it is 1230 a.m. or 107.1 FM. Make sure that you check us out. Said, you've been holding a minute. What's happening with you?
Hello to the both of you. In reference to the black church, I just want to give a shout out to Bishop Paul Martin, because he's the only one that comes out every Monday and he talks about what's going on with this divider in chief, and he equates it to what the Bible says, and he does it publicly. Now I know we have a lot of pastors, including mine, that does it, on Sundays inside of his church. But I want to just say thank you, Bishop Martin, for using your platform of social media to help us. Lastly, I heard, and maybe you all can find out, according to Don Lemon, the journalist, the president is speaking tonight. The dividing chief is speaking tonight. But according to Don Lemon, the leader of Iran is coming out with a letter to the American people today. So that's going to be interesting, and I'll hang up and listen to the rest of the show. And thank y'all for what y'all do, because y'all are truly the only voice that we have news media-wise. Thank you. Have a good
All right,
good evening.
Every night on TikTok, the Iranian government is releasing a Lego-style video trolling Donald Trump about this war. If you haven't seen them, they are very interesting. The first one depicted the president with children in bed with him, and had a missile that had Epstein written on it that hit the White House. Another one depicted American Indians whose land was stolen. It depicted Epstein survivors. It depicted people who were hit in Hiroshima by the U.S., like all these different quote-unquote victims of U.S. aggression, and then it took revenge on their behalf. One 3 nights ago talked about slavery and the plight of Black Americans in this country, and claimed to take revenge on the administration on behalf of African Americans. These videos are being, released every night, and they are, very interesting. And they're trolling him on social media because they know he loves social media. They know he's on there every night. His people are on there every night. So they are really hitting him very hard on social media. I'm finding it interesting. Now, a lot of Jewish people were upset because tonight is the first night of Passover. And the fact that he is speaking on Passover, they're finding to be very offensive. So maybe he didn't realize that faux pas he was making, since he wants to be so down for Israel. But, I think it is interesting that the Iranians are coming out with a letter to the American people. But I've been watching it all play out. They have more freedom on some of these social media sites to do what they want to do, and they're coming for him. They are really coming for him.
All right. What you say, cousin?
Hey, cuz.
What's going on with you?
How the attorney's special doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It is well. The first thing I'm going to say, when you let other people write your history, they write you out of it. You touched upon it a minute ago. The true natives of America is the Indians. Our family are tied up with the Blackfeet or Blackfoot Indians, the Cherokees, the Choctaw, Geronimo. You see Geronimo picture. Geronimo was dark. And when the military moved the Indians from their various campsites, they registered them with what they call a dog number that they basically was like a Social Security number. But we can't just keep sitting around letting, the white power structure keep abusing and misusing us and it was brought up the other day. And I'm going to tell you, when I was in Texas, the people told me, they said, you know, y'all black folks is the reason why Trump in the White House. I couldn't debate that because too many of us in the blue states did not vote. We were the swing vote. That's what black folks are. That little 13% population and that about 5% or so that actively votes. We were the reason those blue states failed. That's straight up. But I just want to throw that in about letting people, write your history. And the Middle East ain't nothing but North Africa. That's what I want to say. If you go to the Middle East, most of them folks identify with you being black. That's straight up, too. Okay, thank you.
All right, cousin.
I want to tell y'all one more racist thing that came out of this administration this week. Based upon reporting from the New York Times and NPR, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, under the direction of President Trump, removed, quote unquote, woke leaders from being on the military promotion list to one-star general, and they included black and female officers. They're saying that Trump directly told him that he did not want to stand next to a black female officer at military events.
That's true.
And therefore, he did not want to see any of them on the military promotion list.
That is true. That is actually true.
So, you got to see, this man it's a racist agenda.
T-Bone.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
So I want to ask y'all something, but I also want to make a statement. So I want y'all to confirm or deny this. Is it true that Tyler Perry sold his stock in BET and that Oprah lost control of some of her entertainment rights or something like that? Those are two things I heard. I just want y'all to confirm that.
Yes.
And then I want to make my statement.
It is true.
On both of them?
Yes.
Oprah too?
On both of them.
Wow. Now, see, those are two media giants right there that represent the black community. If you don't know that they are trying to ease us out of entertainment, ease us out of military, ease us out of any kind of power, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, you don't have to like everything that's put out from an entertainment perspective. You don't have to like the military. You don't have to like a lot of different things that black people are doing that you're not doing. But when you sit up there and you vote for somebody like this, you're taking away opportunities for people coming behind you, the kids coming behind you to get into. Now, here's my statement. Again, I don't care about the propaganda, but I'm going to bring up something that maybe nobody else did because they're not in IT like me. Now, the other day I read that the Iranians have hacked Kash Patel's email.
They did.
They did, and they released video of him dancing around his living room.
And that's how they're going to even up things with this war, not just the ground attack.
All right, T-Bo, hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on.
Okay.
We got to do our news real quick. I'll come right back. All right, more coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
Campus of Xavier University. WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black interim CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Macklin King, is now the district's permanent leader.
I am both honored and humbled to accept the position of permanent superintendent CEO for Chicago Public Schools. It is a responsibility I carry with the weight of every student's future in mind.
She takes on a budget gap and a new board. A black man from Memphis, Tennessee has filed a federal civil rights complaint alleging police took an inappropriate photo of his deceased mother. LaMichael Wilson says the image appeared on her phone days after her death and violated her dignity. And actor Omar Gooding is recovering after a serious car accident that left him with a neck fracture. Gooding posted a video from the hospital saying he won't need surgery and credits his seatbelt and God with saving his life. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. 5 o'clock. Everybody getting off work, headed out of town. That's how it happened in New Orleans. Everybody that don't live in New Orleans works in New Orleans, and be a mad exodus at 5 o'clock. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. T-Bone.
Yo, let me educate the audience a little bit on this IT matter. So I know some of y'all might not be technical wise. Some of you may not understand this, but let me explain something to you right quick. There's a term in the IT world called hacktivists. And it's just what it says. It's hackers who are also activists with their political and religious beliefs. Now, a little bit of history, just real quick. That region of the world, biblically, has been fighting over that land since before Jesus. Let that sink in for a minute. Before Jesus, Israel and Iran go all the way back to the original man that was called Israel and to a man called Ishmael. All you Bible people should know this already. Those that ain't, look it up. This war is important to them. Every time the Western world starts something with the Iranians, they get serious about this. And they were prepared and waiting on the U.S. to stomp, because every time a Republican president gets in, they start stuff in that part of the world. Now, if they hit Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, who else have they hit? They probably hit Hegseth already and know exactly where they're trying to put ground troops. They probably hit the other guy with Homeland Security, and they probably hit Trump. And I'm going to tell you why they've been able to do so. Because Trump also laid off people with the CISA, which is the cybersecurity agency for this country. How dangerous is that? Not only can they get to heads of government, they can get to your bank account. They can get to your Social Security numbers.
Okay.
That's how stuck on stupid this thing is.
Well, they probably have hacked into these sources because, according to foreign sources, we are not winning this war. Okay? We went in guns blazing without a plan, and they're coming to destroy the military bases across the Middle East at an incredible scale that I don't even think people are comprehending. You know,
we
the
have never been able
American
to beat
military
Iran
bases
into the sand.
Right.
Like so many other people have tried before. These people have survived us before. This is nothing new to them. They want a ground attack so they can embarrass the United States.
But this is what's new to us in this particular war. We cannot rely upon NATO allies. We have none. Okay? The other thing that is new pretty much in this war too is they are heavily relying upon social media, because there are so many servicemen and women and servicemen and women's loved ones that are going on social media and telling the plans.
Yeah.
Saying, oh, my son just shipped out. He's going to X today. You know, I mean, they're saying these things on social media that they should not know.
Right. And not just that. Let's not forget Russia and China are supporting them in the background.
Oh, definitely.
Putting money up, everything.
They're definitely supporting them, you know.
And Trump is crying wolf, like, why y'all not helping? Well, you threw a middle finger up to them, so they throwing their middle fingers back up to us. Why wouldn't they? I would too.
Reports are that our military bases in Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait have been obliterated.
Hello.
Okay, and
Because
these
they
were
knew where they were and how to hit them.
right, and these were our biggest military installations in the Middle East. You know, everyone is reporting on that. Even the bases in Saudi Arabia have been hit. The military facilities, the families have been moved. There were reports this morning that a lot of the American leadership, Trump's cabinet members, Trump's administration, they were being moved onto military bases. They were leaving their private homes and going to military bases. Why do you think they're doing that? So they can be near a bunker in case we get hit here on American soil. They know
Absolutely.
something we don't know. If it was going great and we were winning, they would not be doing that.
All right.
Yeah.
T-Bone, we got to move on, brother.
Well, wait. Well, one more thing. Follow this birthright citizenship thing. Don't just think it's going to go the right way. Please follow this because, again, this affects your children and the children that come behind them. Peace.
All right, Brent. Let's see. Ronnie? Ronnie?
Yes, Gerard, how y'all doing?
Good.
I don't have much to say today, Gerard. I would just like to say that that decision, that UN General Assembly decision the other day that came down should be black people rally and cry. It should not be business as usual anymore.
What decision are you talking about?
The UN decision that declared that slavery or the transatlantic slave trade was the most heinous act ever committed against humanity and called for reparation and everything. It passed almost unanimously. Only the United States, Israel, and Argentina voted no, and most of the European countries, they abstained.
Yeah, on March 25th, 2026, the UN General Assembly adopted a historic resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel enslavement as the gravest crime against humanity. It was a resolution sponsored by Ghana and backed by the AU and CARICOM, and it passed with 123 votes urging for reparations and addressing the lasting legacies of inequality and racism. So, you know, this is something, too, to watch. Look, we're not the favorite child of the world right now.
That's right.
We're not getting any positive press worldwide. And you know, when these kinds of things happen, and it's in the past, the U.S. has been the first to call it a war crime and to want everybody to rally to go attack the country that's committing the war crime.
Yeah.
And pay attention, y'all. There's a great vacuum of for black leadership now. There's a vacuum. I mean, where are the black, congressional black caucus? Where are, the black, legislators? I don't know what they call them, up there in Baton Rouge. But I really believe, attorney, that if I was an attorney, I believe I could win reparation for black people with all of the evidence, that's out there. Isn't that? I mean, 100 years of Jim Crow, 400 years. Come on, why somebody can't take that to?
So one of the things I'll tell you, Ronnie, and the reason why I say this is not to take up for anyone, but they don't have a microphone. They don't have a microphone, but in today's society, it sounds like to me that we got a whole bunch of old geezers, if I can say it that way without them getting offended and calling me up and be ready to protest me. Sounds like we have a whole bunch of old geezers that don't know how to use the powers that they have in media when they're not in front of a television camera.
It's more than that. I'm a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar. I could not take the case for reparations to the U.S. Supreme Court as it is currently constituted today. The honest answer is it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to win a case for reparations at the United States Supreme Court today. This court is stacked with conservative jurists. who are not about embracing the plight of African Americans in this country. It's going to be very interesting to see how this birthright citizenship decision actually comes out and how they make a case for upholding the 14th Amendment while not giving a foothold to Black Americans to be able to make arguments for further freedoms in the country. I mean, you know, we might have standing to prove a specific personal injury that we can directly trace back to slavery. Causation, we would have to connect slavery, Jim Crow, redlining to present day harms. I think we could do that. I don't think they could argue legitimately that the statute of limitations is run, but I just don't think that we would get enough votes at this Supreme Court to win a case for reparations.
No. All right, Ronnie.
Thank you all.
Thank you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
All right, Galloway.
What's going on, Brother Gerard?
What's happening with you?
How you doing, Mr. Attorney?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. A couple of things before I get started, man. I got to give a shout out to Southern University. The graduate, Jeremy Planner, he's actually is helping launching the spaceship that's going to the moon today. So Southern University and New Orleans, y'all played a part into this also. The facility down there at NASA, the McMurray Assembly Facility in New Orleans, support Boeing. So a lot of the wiring and harnesses and all that stuff come from New Orleans, and the Southern graduate was in charge of all this stuff. And Southern produced like 80% of the wiring for this space shuttle. So shout out to Black Excellence and HBCUs. But now, this 14th Amendment stuff, they are arguing this very wrong. Now, if you go back to the original of the 14th Amendment, it stems from the Dred Scott decision in 1857 when they said Black people could not become citizens of the United States, no matter if they're free or not, and the Congress could not control if your state would be a free state or a slave state. Now, you go to the 14th, after the 13th Amendment, you hit the 14th Amendment. That was true. That was for Black people, not just for Black people only. Because as you went to the turn of the century, when all the Caucasians from Ireland, Italy, Sicilian, and all them people came over, they used it also. The problem is what they have in now, and I keep trying to tell folks, you have people from Russia go to Miami and have children. Those Russian babies are American citizens. Mm-hmm. You have Chinese people come go to San Francisco just to have babies. Those Chinese babies are American citizens. So if Congress get off their behind and amend the 14th Amendment, not get rid of it, amend it. And I hate to say this word, but it's called anchor babies. Because if that child becomes a citizen, which is born in a hospital or wherever and on United States soil, you are a United States citizen, and that parent gets to be his or her guardian until that child turns 18, and it goes chain migration, immigration. Because once the child turns 18, the parent gets to use that child to become American citizen. If they was to argue it right, they would stop what they call anchor babies. So plain and simple, but they up there trying to get rid of everybody. And then they really want to get rid of Black people and brown people. So to you brown people and Black folks that actually vote for Donald Trump, you crazy. Now, you talking about the Middle East. Listen, I told y'all Donald Trump was an idiot with a military. I'm telling you from experience, what the American news is reporting to you, you're not even getting a tenth of what's going on. Mm-hmm. I've been to every base in Kuwait, Camp Deering, Camp Pennsylvania, Arab John, Ali Asalim, you name it, I've been there. Those bases are not equipped to handle those incoming drones. Those drones, those $20,000 drones are tearing our air defense systems apart. Even in Saudi Arabia, these, and which are the real terrorists in the world, even in Saudi Arabia, they do not have. They are looking for to shoot down these intercontinental ballistic missiles, the big missiles. They're not prepared for the small drones that can be launched from anywhere. And from Iran to Oman to Bahrain, Qatar, and UAE, you're not even looking at 90 miles. So by the time those bases really get their systems up and going, you might get one or two, but you're probably getting 4 or 5 drones that are actually getting through that.
Right.
Look at Kuwait, the airport in Kuwait. Kuwait, that you can tell their systems are so screwed up because they're shooting down American planes. You mean to tell me you cannot stop those missiles and drones coming in, but you can shoot down F-18s, F-35s? They have no idea what they're doing over there. But that comes from incompetent leadership. And your caller that talked about the letter, that letter from Iran is already out. You can go to Atlanta Black Star, and you can read that a letter that the supreme leader or the president of Iran, whichever one wrote it, but it's out. And it goes back to what I've been trying to tell people. Iran really don't care about the American people. It's our American government. You go back to 1953 when the United States illegally overthrew their government, and we've been at war with them covertly since 1953. 1979 when they took the Iranian hostages, when those students and the other people said, hey, black people, we know what y'all going through. Y'all get on up out of here. We've been going back and forth with these folks, and they're right. Every time we do get a conservative president, Bush Sr., Bush Jr., they start a conflict in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. Now, Donald Trump has kissed up to Netanyahu, and Netanyahu, I don't know what they got going on, but he has convinced this man every other week that Iran has a nuclear weapon coming on. 40 years he's been trying to get somebody to go invade Iran. But he said to his own people in Israel, we will not send our boots on the ground to Iran. So the United States, big and powerful as we are, we can actually take over anything in the world. But at what cost? How many of our young men and women are really ready to go over there and lay down their lives? Because some going to come home, some ain't going to come home. Or how many of y'all want to lose over something that you really don't have no need for?
Or that we don't understand. We don't understand what's going on.
Well, I got to tell you, you're right on target talking about these drones. So the New York News and World Report is talking about mysterious drones that were spotted this month circling U.S. Air Force bases, including Barksdale Air Force Base here in Louisiana. It was visited by a swarm of mysterious drones last week. The drones proved resistant to electronic warfare measures. They artfully evaded attempts to approach or neutralize them and lingered over the base for 4 hours. It was an astonishing display, really, of negligence by the U.S. military that couldn't stop the drones. So drone technology is really being utilized in this particular war. And they have threatened to utilize drones, to attack major U.S. cities. And I think there's 13 U.S. cities that they have identified as cities that they are interested in attacking. So Shreveport was on that list. I was really surprised to see that.
I don't believe that there's no drones that's going to be able to circle an Air Force base for 4 hours. Am I right?
It actually did.
Hold on. But am I saying that right, Galloway?
Gerard, it depends on the type of drone that you have. You're
trying to tell me that they would not have scrambled and seen these drones and scrambled these jets, because first of all, that's restricted airspace. Second of all, it's a Air Force base where you have F-15s, the Raptors, and all of those in your fleet of squadrons. I can't see that there was drones that were circling or in the airspace of an Air Force base.
It forced temporary shutdowns of operations and spurred a shelter-in-place order.
Now,
as early as March 9th.
But understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm saying that's not mysterious drones. You know what that was, right? That was the folks that are U.S. agencies, whether it's ICE or whether it was some other agency in the United States that was using their own drones and calling it and saying that they had these drones looking for whatchamacallit. I'm telling you what happened.
Numerous news agencies have reported there were Iranian drones that flew over Barksdale Air Force Base.
But we can't have it both ways. Y'all either going to believe that the news is right or you're going to believe that the news is not wrong.
U.S. news sources. These are not all U.S. news sources.
Which is even worse.
I'm going to tell you this. With the leadership that we have, I'm talking Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, and General Kane, anything is possible to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You have people that are not competent. You got to remember the last time that we've actually went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan, the leadership that we actually had generals who actually fought from Vietnam through the Panama, Grenada, the first Desert Storm, and so on. These guys have about much experience as two squirrels sitting there trying to hump each other.
But do you all remember that it was just several months ago that they had these drones that were supposedly around these Air Force bases around the border, and they shut down a specific part of airspace and couldn't let planes fly, anything, because they said there were drones that were flying in U.S. airspace.
PBS has reported it, G. The National Interest has reported it.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. military itself has reported it.
I'm telling you, the military did this.
Are you talking about the drones that was in El Paso?
Yes. Yeah. You think that's the only place? That's not the only place that this happened.
I'm talking about in the last month, Barksdale Air Force Base had drones that they could not stop from circling the Air Force Base. It exposed numerous vulnerabilities in the Homeland Air Defense for hours.
And I'm telling you that was us. And they didn't know.
Listen, it was probably both. I'm telling you it was probably both. I'm going to go back and keep telling you, we have horrible leadership. These people have no idea.
So if you just go back and take a look at the whole situation, especially the one you're talking about at the border, it was our agency that we had to shoot them down, and we didn't even know that it belonged to us.
Now, you just proved what I said. Our leadership does not know what's going on.
Right.
That's the problem we have. Now
But if I want to scare the hell out you, I'm going to tell it came from Iran or somebody else. I'm telling you that this is the United States military that didn't know that another agency was flying drones, and they had to blame it on somebody else.
Show me the report you're relying upon to say that. Because I'm telling you, I'm looking at reports.
I'm telling you that you're looking at a report that they wanted. If the military wanted to put it out there and tell you that it was somebody else, they would do so.
I'm going to tell you this. The Gulf of Tonkin, talking about Vietnam veterans, they know what I'm talking about. The United States is known to shoot down and hit their own stuff to start some stuff. If you know about the Gulf of Tonkin, I can see both sides.
And this is the same issue that just happened in what part of Texas was that? Was that Austin or was that closer to the border?
That was El Paso.
El Paso.
They was out there messing with them lasers and everything.
It's the same thing. You can't tell me that is somebody from another country flying a $20,000 drone that we couldn't shoot down.
Gerard, it can be both. I'm telling you, these drones, when I retired in 2016, we had been using drones since 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got some stuff that we really don't know about unless you actually into the, I forgot the MOS for drones. They got some stuff out there. I want you to go look at 60 Minutes from this past Sunday.
Oh, I saw it.
Watch that.
I saw it with the lasers.
That's when people just working in a basement.
Right.
Now we got folks that actually work in laboratories and basically Area 51s with some stuff. We got drones that can actually shoot you from miles away. We got drones that can blow up in your face. We got drones that can carry a 50 cal bullet. We got drones that can blow up just about anything. So I'm not putting nothing past these clowns with Trump them, but look at both sides. Both sides can be right. I'm telling you, I can see it being in the United States. Not every military base you think of has the brightest and the smartest people. I can tell you that right now. Because some of these military bases, if they was attacked right now, they would be out there scratching their behind, wouldn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. You had a whole different type of military.
I think they underestimated Iranians' access to technology in this particular war, and that North Korea, China, and Russia were going to be supplying them with technology.
I'm going to say this. I don't know how they underestimated Iran. Iran had been blowing us up for almost 12 years using IEDs and EFPs, and they defeated our jamming system.
Yeah.
Now, y'all have a good day.
All right, Galloway. We got to take a break, y'all. More coming up.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Young black entrepreneur Dion Nicholas founded agentic AI company Forethought in 2017 to try to make AI used for customer service more user-friendly. Nicholas refers to it as human-centered AI.
Customers are getting their questions answered faster, and they're actually seeing an even better experience in many cases than when interacting with a human agent. So this idea of, hey, I just want to press 0 and talk to a human is actually a thing of the past when it comes to agentic AI.
That's Nicholas on Bloomberg Television. The company so far has done well enough that it caught the attention of the much larger firm Zendesk, which decided to acquire Forethought. Tom Eggemeyer is CEO of Zendesk and spoke to Bloomberg about why Forethought aligns with his company's vision for agentic AI.
A lot of companies are just trying to get deflections, get the customer not talking to them. Forethought is exactly what Zendesk is trying to do. We're really symbiotic here. We're trying to resolve the customer's issues.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to say
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
The excuses have run out. In New Orleans, the failures of the Sewerage and Water Board are no longer occasional. They are, in fact, routine. Another major water line erupts, streets flood, property is damaged, and the response is as predictable as the failure itself. Explanations, deflections, and promises. We have heard it all before. Let's be clear. This is not bad luck. This is not unforeseen. This is what happens when a critical public system is allowed to decay in full view of those responsible for maintaining it. Pipes more than a century old are bursting beneath our streets. A power system built on outdated technology continues to falter. And a governance structure split between city and state has created the perfect environment for one thing above all else: a lack of accountability. Because when everyone is in charge, no one is in charge. We saw the warning signs in 2017 when a summer rainstorm overwhelmed a crippled drainage system. We saw it again during Hurricane Ida when failure of the power system nearly led to catastrophe. We've lived through boil water advisories, cyber attacks, and the looming threat of saltwater intrusion. And now we are watching the ground beneath us literally give way. So the question must be asked, not politely, but directly, just who the hell is responsible? Is it the leadership of the Sewerage and Water Board? Is it the mayor who leads the Utilities Board? Is it the governor and the state of Louisiana, which maintains control over this hybrid agency? Or is it all of the above? Because the people of New Orleans are paying the price in damaged homes, disrupted lives, and rising rates for a system that no longer delivers the most basic of public services: water, drainage, safety. This is not complicated. What is required now is not another study, not another promise, not another press conference with catchy phrases of concern. What is required is action, decisive, coordinated, and immediately. Full transparency, a clear chain of command, and a timeline the public can see and hold accountable. Anything less is simply managing decline. And in a city like New Orleans, where water is both a fact of life and a constant threat, managing decline is just not responsible. It is dangerous. So here is the bottom line. If this system fails again, and it will, no one should be allowed to say they didn't see it coming. The warning signs are no longer beneath our streets. They are erupting through them. And this time, the responsibility will not wash away with the water. So y'all come up with a plan, and damn it, do something with it. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Gerard Stevens with you, the attorney extraordinaire, Suzette McNaris.
We're talking about all kinds of things today. We started off talking about the U.S. Supreme Court hearing the birthright citizenship case today, dealing with the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and the fact that Donald Trump actually showed up at the argument,
the
first time
ever sitting president to go to the United States Supreme Court to sit while they're doing arguments.
Right, to intimidate the justices.
And
That's
now
my
we
opinion.
are 3 minutes away from Artemis taking off.
Yeah, they're doing that as a distraction. A distraction. So you won't talk about the other thing we're talking about today. Are we winning this war in Iran?
Yeah, 3 minutes away, yo. What you say, James?
Hey, good evening, family. Good afternoon, good evening. How y'all doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right. I just, it sticks in my craw. T-Bone didn't say nothing wrong. He just kind of like or delineated something that I don't think that, not delineated, wrong word. He conflated something that I don't think we all paying attention to, and it's directly tied to that 1314 Amendment, but it's on foreign soil. You can't be telling these people or saying Israel and speaking about them as if they are the tribe from the Bible. That's not them. Bibi Netanyahu is an Eastern European. Most of those people are Eastern Europeans. They were the ones that were getting bombed by the Nazis. Those are Eastern Europeans that practice Judaism. Those are not the true Israelis or Israelites of that region that T-Bone was referring to, that was fighting for centuries. That's not them. We got to stop doing that. This whole state of Israel is something totally. They were given a plot of land in Palestine. That wasn't theirs.
Okay.
You agree there? And then to the original point, which was, I believe that the good attorney said that we were talking about, because we went all over the map. Now I done forgot hell.
We're talking about whether or not we're winning this war in Iran, and whether they're telling us the truth on these media outlets about what's really happening over there.
So it was tying into what the discussion was before Autumn was taking off. I was working at NASA when they were working on the Orion capsule.
Well, the countdown has started. You 10 seconds out, 7 seconds out
No,
now.
I'm watching mine go up in the air, bro.
You think they're launching that because they want to distract us from everything going on in the world?
Absolutely, because other than that, you'll be talking about the letter.
It's
in there.
Galloway said.
I tell you what, nobody's talking about the Epstein files anymore because everybody's talking about the war.
You ain't talking about the letter. You worried about whether you're gonna allow these people to tell you that you are a citizen or not. That's what we worried about right now. And to y'all point, I agree with Galloway. He said it as best he could. Man, two things are often right when it comes down to our military. Yes, we strike. Yes, we strike ourselves. Yes, we also miss and strike. And yes, we also miss and strike ourselves. These things happen. Those drones. There were 3 encounters of some activity that happened over the last 4-5 years. Now we've seen drone sightings. Before the last Trump administration, we've seen the Japan balloon in the Biden administration. We saw drone sightings in the Biden administration, and now we're seeing drone sightings again in the Trump administration. You have to remember which ones is which.
Yeah.
So
I mean, why would we think that we're over there messing with them and they're not going to send anybody over here to mess with us?
Right. I mean, the audacity to think that we're just so wide, so big and bold that's not them folks' nature. I don't believe that's them folks' nature just to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna come over and slap you in the face and turn, and I'm gonna walk away and expect you not to fight back, because that's, oh no, this thing is going down.
It does look like it's going down, huh?
It does.
Is that the bottom of it maybe just coming to Earth?
It's not going down. It's going up.
Well, then what's that coming down?
Yeah. Oh, that's the moon. They caught the moon in there. You got the rockets taking off. It then caught It caught orbit.
Yeah, the rockets are coming off of the because they're going into orbit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it then caught orbit. Beautiful.
All right, James. Let me get these other calls, man. We got to get out.
All right.
Appreciate you, dog.
Yep.
Hey, Dr. Sanyika.
So good afternoon, Counselor and Brother G.
How you doing?
I am. I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying this conversation immensely. It really is one that I have been engaging in since all of this stuff has begun, and there is no easy or clear resolution to most of it. But I don't proclaim myself to be an expert at war or war machinery or war strategy or none of that. But I do believe I have common sense, and that some things I can see and some things I can see and don't understand. And I'm willing to admit that I don't understand some of the things that I see. But I do understand something, and that is that Iran, a Shiite Muslim country, has been in existence in the days of Mesopotamia, thousands of years ago, an ancient civilization that's been around more than most other civilizations in the world, perhaps with the exception of Egypt. An ancient civilization that has developed profound cultural symbols and cultural information. The contributions that they have made to the world are just enormous. If you actually study who they are as a people, you'll find out that they are a great and glorious people. And, I thank them for their contribution to history. They I think, are at least worth that. Now, this question of the war comes in at a different angle, and that's the angle of who is it that's going to be in control of the world. But that's what all this is about. All of this right now is about empire in motion, and empires coming and empires are going. The American empire is in a very dangerous and unstable position right now. Just the other day, for instance, 4 of the major banks in the United States on Wall Street just moved parts of their operations into Canada, just up and left, because they said that the political leadership of this country was too unstable and that they could not trust it. And so they were going to move some of their assets to another location. That's a major signal to us. Another example was what happened with NATO, where Canada put a motion on the floor that was carried 23 to 5 to change the supply chain, where the U.S. had previously been contributing and developing 40 to 45% of all the military arms. They passed a motion in NATO to cease that altogether and to reduce the American contribution to the supply chain. I mean, the American empire is at stake. That's what we are really, really, really seeing, that it's at stake because they made the mistake of reading what 2025 told them, which was that they could convert this country to a fascist country or a centralized country or a dictatorship, whichever language you choose to call. They decided that they would convert this country to something akin to that because of their fear that Europeans will no longer be the majority in this country come 2050, and that the majority will be melanated people and other white people who are progressive. That's what all the statistics and the numbers are saying. And nobody has a solution except to do what Donald Trump is doing. Put them out of the country, bring in some white folks from South Africa. I mean, that's a clear message that they're sending to us about what this is all about. And
racial replacement.
Yes, this is the replacement theory. Exactly. You got it, Counselor. That is what's happening, and I think we need to understand that is what is going on, and to continue to support things like this No Kings, 9 million people, and next time they're going to have a shutdown of the system itself. You know, they're going to actually do a system shutdown, the thing that Dr. King had wanted to do but was not able to do. Now they're talking about doing that, shutting the systems down. Don't go to work, don't go to school, don't buy anything. They're about to cause a major destruction inside of this system because the economics cannot hold this move. This movement is bigger than what Wall Street can manage and what all the big people with money can manage. So I think what we need to be thinking out about is, are we in the stage of empire collapse? Are we really in the stage where this country is in decline at every level of its civilization? It still has some strength. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying it's in decline, that people don't buy the paradigm that they're the greatest country in the world and they can do anything they want to anybody in the world. People around the world don't buy that anymore. They don't accept that. They're trying to take Africa because Africa has the resources that are needed to keep all this industrialization and this AI economy in place. That's why they're fighting over Uganda. That's why they're fighting over Burkina Faso. That's why they're fighting over Nigeria and what Dangote did by building that refinery, because Africa is the center of the resources, plus the world's population is predominantly young, and Africa has the youngest population in the world. So the future is there, and the future is other places. So I think we need to have conversations about what stage of world and global development we are in right now and what are the dynamics that are going on with the power players. The other thing we should know is that the petrodollar is in decline. It's in absolute decline. It's doing what Gaddafi had wanted to do, which is to replace it with another kind of currency. And that's what the Sahel countries, that's what they have done. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they've developed their own currency, and they've developed their own resource strategy for how they're going to operate in their country without having to use Western capital or Western currencies. So the world is changing, Africa is changing, and Africa is on its way to the next stage of decolonization, which is where we come in because we have a contribution to make there. But we should keep our ears and eyes open to what is happening in every part of the world right now, because everything is changing, and the United States thinks that it can be the bully of the world. But let me tell you something. The bully gonna pay for being a bully one day. They always do.
I think we were in a better position to remain a bully when we were a member of NATO. Now
That
that
may
we
be
are no
true.
longer a member of NATO and we're an island unto ourselves, and Russia
That's
is
dangerous.
angry with us because they believe we helped Ukraine to wage war with them. I think we're in a very difficult situation in this Iran war. North Korea is already starting to say they may come to the defense of Iran. Russia's already
I
assisting
think you're
them.
right, Counselor. I agree with you, and we don't know exactly where it's going to end. We don't know how far it's going to go, and we don't know where it's going to end.
Correct.
That's the problem.
Keep your eyes
we've
on
got.
it.
Yeah, because we don't have competent staff at the highest executive level and the management of our systems. We simply don't have competent people managing what we do. We need to go get General Honore to help us figure this out, because it's a mess. It's a mess. Our systems are a mess. It's just sheer incompetence all the way from top to bottom, and none of them know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
Everybody says that about them. So I think we've got to pay attention. We need to think through ourselves how we can best help Africa and how we can do things in this country to continue our own domestic empowerment in New Orleans. We've got multiple problems in New Orleans that we need to address with this new administration.
Yep.
I agree with you all. I listen to what you say, and you're right on, so keep on doing it. So thank you for giving me a moment to share, but I think we are in the moment of empire decline and rearrangement of the world, and we need to reposition exactly where we're going to land in that equation. So
all right,
that's
Dr.
what I
Sanyika.
think I want to share.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you always.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll talk soon. All right, more coming up, y'all. We got to take a break.
AURN News.
The Supreme Court takes up one of the most consequential cases in years this morning. Oral argument in the Trump versus Barber case set to begin around 10:30, and President Donald Trump says he will be in the courtroom, marking the first time a sitting U.S. president will attend a Supreme Court oral argument. Now, this landmark case looks at a 2025 executive order that attempts to end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants and temporary visitors. The case tests the limits of the 14th Amendment, with opponents arguing the order creates a subclass of people. The order attempts to redefine subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. to exclude children of non-citizens, including undocumented individuals. The Trump administration argues that it was meant for only the children of freed slaves and not immigrants. The Supreme Court's decision is expected by late June. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK 1230 a.m. See you on Saturday.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
WBOK. Better pay attention. Powered by Cox Business. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back.
We're getting sleepy.
few more. Don't say we. I've already done my nap. I did my nap about 15 minutes ago. Got to start taking naps. Yes, indeed. Good conversation with everybody. 504-582-9422, the number to get in contact with us. And, of course, the attorney extraordinaire is in the building. Suzette Bagnaris, Gerard Stevens with you. 14th Amendment. That seems to be the conversation piece that we started off with. For those of you that don't know what the 14th Amendment is, the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, granted citizenship and equal civil rights to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, significantly impacting civil rights and liberties.
It was in direct response to the Dred Scott decision, which said that black people, slaves, were not citizens.
Yeah, but I want to go back to something today, because there are a lot of people that do come to the United States, stay here for many years, 10, 15 years, but go through the process of becoming naturalized citizens. What does that do to them? If we get this where Trump wants this to be saying, hey, no more birthright citizenship, but it is also the 14th Amendment that gives them naturalized citizenship. What does that do to them?
Well, you know, the naturalized citizen argument, believe it or not, I had with my nail tech. So my nail tech still maintains her citizenship in Vietnam. And she's also married to a man who still maintains his citizenship in Vietnam. However, they had a baby
here
since they've been here in America. And she was arguing me down that her child's an American citizen due to birthright citizenship, and Trump would never challenge birthright citizenship.
When you go back.
And here we are. So if he was able to prevail at the U.S. Supreme Court, and they would no longer recognize birthright citizenship, that child of those two Vietnamese citizens would no longer be considered an American.
There's no way in the world, I'm going to go out here on a limb. There's no way in the world that the Supreme Court is going to agree to say, okay, get rid of the 14th Amendment or no more birthright citizenship. There's no way in the world. Can you imagine the number of things that will be screwed up from you owning land, from you owning property, from you having the right to get a driver's license,
entitlement to, federal programs.
Right. It would mess up too much. There's no way in the world that this is going to pass. And I'm speaking out on a limb on a Supreme Court that has done some stuff in the past that made me go, what? But this one right here, in the famous words of Cat Williams, this right here, no way in the world.
For 150 years, this understanding has been simple. It has not been challenged. And here we are with people questioning whether or not we are American citizens.
If this changes and birthright citizenship changes, we're in a world of trouble anyway.
I told y'all yesterday on the show, you laughed, we already on the fast track to hell in this country.
I laughed because it was unexpected, and me and Wick were sitting there, and all of a sudden this high-pitched voice comes out, and both of us had to look at each other and give us the
because the dude said he was optimistic. Everything we talking about, he said he's optimistic. We're on the fast track to hell. He says he's optimistic. I never in my lifetime
but we had to figure out what he was
we would be debating whether the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution should be judicially repealed, making us no longer American citizens.
So anybody that would have any type of, connection to another country would no longer be?
All African African Americans
Right.
are citizens by virtue of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So if you judicially repeal the 14th Amendment, then we are no longer considered American citizens.
I'm going to call my cousin Boobala and them.
Better tell Boobala to make you a tent, because you might have to come back to Africa.
Boobala, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. And I do my dance.
You better practice.
Yep.
You better practice.
We should have been doing that instead of the split.
Maybe so.
Y'all, that's going to wrap it up for us. Don't call me with no mess talking about some you can't be playing with that Gerod. Don't be playing with our African peoples.
We have to make light of something because the news is just too heavy, y'all. It is too heavy.
That's going to wrap it up for us. We appreciate everybody for being part of the conversation on today. We will see you on tomorrow. Please get involved. Get involved.
Stay informed. Look outside of the U.S. for some news sources.
There you go. All right, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.